Chosen one, before you continue listening, I want you to stop thinking about everything that hasn't happened yet. Stop counting the closed doors. Stop replaying yesterday's disappointments. Stop measuring God's faithfulness by today's circumstances. Because today, God wants to remind you of something you've almost forgotten. My child, I have never been late. I have always arrived at the exact moment my purpose required. Chosen one, for a long time, you've looked at your life and quietly wondered, Lord, why does it seem like you're taking so long? You prayed for healing, but the pain remained. You prayed for restoration, but the relationship ended. You prayed for opportunity, but another door closed. You prayed for peace, yet the battle continued, and slowly, without even realizing it, you began comparing God's timing with everyone else's. You watched people around you celebrate milestones, promotions, marriages, businesses, financial breakthroughs, new beginnings. Meanwhile, you kept waiting. You smiled when they celebrated. You congratulated them, but inside your own heart, a question refused to disappear. Father, when will it finally be my turn? Today, God answers that question. My child, I am not writing their story, I am writing yours, and your ending will be worth every season of waiting. Chosen one, the world believes that faster is always better, but heaven has never rushed perfection. A diamond is not created overnight. An oak tree does not grow in a week. A masterpiece takes time, and the calling I've placed on your life requires preparation. God says, I am more interested in preparing you than impressing people. Chosen one, think about Lazarus. When Jesus heard that his friend was sick, he didn't rush, he waited. To everyone watching, it looked like Jesus had arrived too late. The funeral had already happened. The tomb had already been sealed. Hope had already disappeared. People believed the story was over, but heaven knew something they didn't. Jesus wasn't late. He was preparing a miracle that no one would ever forget. Chosen one, maybe today, you're standing in front of what feels like a sealed tomb, a dream that seems dead, a prayer that seems forgotten, a relationship that seems beyond repair, an opportunity that appears impossible. But listen carefully. Just because something looks impossible to people doesn't mean it's impossible for God. God says, the place where others see an ending is often where I begin my greatest work. Chosen one, the enemy has spent months trying to convince you that waiting means losing, but waiting with God is never wasted. Every delay has protected you from something you couldn't see. Every closed door has redirected you towards something better. Every unanswered prayer has been part of a greater answer that is still unfolding. Nothing has happened by accident. Nothing has escaped my attention. Nothing has been forgotten. God says, while you were waiting, I was arranging people, places, opportunities, and timing that only I could see. Chosen one, have you noticed something? The closer you came to giving up, the stronger the spiritual battle became. The doubts increased. The pressure became heavier. Unexpected problems appeared. Why? Because the enemy often attacks hardest when he realizes your breakthrough is near. But today, God speaks with authority. Do not fear the battle in front of you. It is only proof that something greater is waiting on the other side. Chosen one, very soon, you'll stop asking, why is God taking so long? Because you'll finally understand. He wasn't delaying your blessing. He was protecting it. He wasn't ignoring your prayers. He was preparing the perfect moment. He wasn't late. He was making sure that when the blessing arrived, no one would mistake it for a coincidence. They would know it could only have come from God. Chosen one, if you're still listening, then perhaps you've been carrying a question that only God truly understands. You have remained faithful. You continued praying when answers didn't come. You kept believing when everything around you suggested giving up. Yet there were moments when your heart quietly whispered, Lord, how much longer? You never stopped loving God, but you grew tired of waiting. You looked at the calendar. You counted the months. You remembered every promise you believed God had spoken over your life. Still, nothing seemed to change. Today, God gently speaks into that silence. My child, I have never forgotten a single promise I made to you. What seems delayed to you is perfectly timed in my hands. Chosen one. Think about Joseph. God gave him a dream while he was still young. He believed it with all his heart. But that kind of faith cannot be manufactured overnight. It is forged through quiet seasons. Chosen one. Remember the story of Hannah, year after year. She prayed for a child, year after year. Nothing changed. Others misunderstood her pain. Some even mocked her. Yet Hannah refused to let disappointment destroy her faith. One day, God answered. Not because he had forgotten her before, but because his appointed time had arrived. God says, an answer delayed is not an answer denied. Chosen one. There are blessings with your name already written on them, doors already prepared, people already positioned, conversations already unfolding, opportunities already moving toward you, even though you cannot see them today. Heaven is already arranging tomorrow. The enemy wants your attention fixed on what hasn't happened. God wants your attention fixed on what he has promised. Because where your focus goes, your faith follows. Chosen one. The battle has never been only about your circumstances. It has always been about your confidence in God. Will you continue believing, even when the evidence hasn't appeared yet? Will you keep obeying, even when the reward feels distant? Will you continue walking, even when the road seems long? God says, faith is trusting me before you understand me. Chosen one, never forget Joseph. Every setback looked like a failure, the pit, the slavery, the prison. Each chapter appeared to move him farther away from God's promise, but in reality, every difficult season was moving him one step closer to the palace. Had Joseph quit in prison, he would never have witnessed the fulfillment of God's dream. Perhaps today, you feel like you're standing inside your own prison, a place of waiting, a place of uncertainty, a place where nothing seems to move. But listen carefully. Prisons are temporary. When God has already prepared a palace, chosen one, the people around you only see today's chapter. They don't know what God whispered over your life years ago. They don't know the promises you've carried. They don't know the battles you've survived. They don't know the miracles God has already prevented by protecting you from unseen danger. Heaven knows, and heaven remembers. God says, the chapter they call defeat is the chapter I call preparation. Very soon, your waiting will make sense. Your tears will make sense. Your delays will make sense. Your unanswered questions will finally receive answers. You'll look back, not with regret, but with gratitude, because you'll realize that if God had answered every prayer immediately, you would have missed something far greater. So don't lose heart now. Don't stop praying now. Don't stop believing now. Because the same God who has carried you this far will never abandon the work he has begun. The celebration of those who doubted you will be short-lived, because God is preparing a victory that only he can receive the glory for. Chosen one. If you've stayed with this message until the very end, then perhaps this isn't just another video for you. Perhaps this is a divine reminder that heaven has not forgotten your name. Today, God wants to silence every fear that has been speaking louder than his promises. He says, my child, do not let what you see today convince you that I have changed my mind about your future. Chosen one. There were moments when you believed your opportunity had passed. You watched others receive the blessings you had prayed for. You celebrated with them, but secretly wondered, Lord, when will it be my turn? You never became bitter. You kept encouraging others. You kept serving. You kept praying. But deep inside, you were tired, not tired of God, but tired of waiting. And God says, I saw every silent battle you never told anyone about. I was with you through every lonely night, every hidden tear, and every unanswered question. Chosen one. The enemy wanted your waiting season to become a place of surrender. He wanted you to stop expecting miracles. He wanted you to believe that your prayers no longer mattered. He whispered, God has forgotten you. Nothing is changing. Just give up. But those whispers were never the truth, because while the enemy was trying to weaken your faith, God was strengthening your foundation. Every delay made you depend on Him more. Every disappointment taught you wisdom. Every closed door protected you from something you couldn't see. God says, the season that looked empty was actually full of my preparation. Chosen one. Think about David. Before he became king, he was chased through deserts, he hid in caves, he was rejected, misunderstood, hunted by people who feared his future. If someone had looked at David during those difficult years, they would have said,